No!
Spicy.
Spicy.
Wait. Repeat that?
I'm just like picturing someone going all into someone's ass. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Bit of a Bitch. This is episode 6, and I'm here again with my amazing boyfriend Jake.
Number 3. Number 3.
Oh, this is your third time on. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
I just want to say, Taylor, I am stoked to be back.
Are you stoked?
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Okay, so this is another miscellaneous category. But as I was pre-creating these stories and saving them all, I basically was in my head making a category of stories that I wanted to read specifically with you today or whatever time you came back on.
Okay.
So I thought that these stories would be best for you specifically.
Alrighty.
Let's
get into it.
Okay. So the first one is called My Boyfriend, 22 male, just told me, 21 female, that his dad left his dog on the side of the road and we had completely different reactions.
I already don't like this guy.
Right.
Not the kid, the dad. What the fuck?
I know. And
okay.
We are such dog people. I always say that we're going to have like 16 dogs.
I mean, probably, yeah.
So I figured you would agree with me on this.
I mean, dogs are the best.
They are. Man's best friend.
I don't understand the people who go, you know what? I really prefer having a cat that does nothing.
Right.
That just sits there, sleeps,
Yeah.
poops.
I mean, a cat is a great pet for a specific group of people. Some people love cats.
Yeah,
I
psychopaths.
just personally would not. I just personally am not a cat parent. I prefer dogs. Personally.
You can actually befriend dogs. Cats are just assholes.
A lot of cats are very antisocial.
Yeah.
I prefer to have a little best friend as opposed to somebody who just is like, it's in this house somewhere, I'm not sure where, I'll find it next year maybe.
So let's find out what the hell happened here. Speaking of dogs.
Yeah, there are Mystic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, my boyfriend 22 male just told me, 21 female, that his dad left his dog on the side of the road and we had completely different reactions. You ready?
Yes.
My boyfriend just told me that last night his dad abandoned their family dog in some random city. I freaked out as a dog parent and animal lover. The thought of someone doing this is unthinkable and unacceptable. I haven't met his dad yet, but I've lost all respect for him. Apparently he's done this before. He can't afford to take care of an animal, so he just leaves it somewhere. My boyfriend didn't seem fazed by any of this. I don't know how to feel about it. How am I going to meet his dad and keep my cool knowing he does fucked up shit like this to innocent animals? I don't want to disrespect my boyfriend's father, but seriously, fuck that guy for doing something as horrible as that. And on multiple occasions, any advice on how to handle the situation would be much appreciated, or even just validation that I'm not crazy for wanting a defenseless animal to feel safe and loved for its entire life. Thanks, y'all. Much love. And then there is an edit.
Okay.
Thank you endlessly for all your advice and support. It's really helped me put perspective on the situation and how to handle it forward. I don't believe my boyfriend wasn't upset over it, but he has gone through this enough times to where he feels getting upset over it would be pointless. He grew up on a farm and has experienced a lot of animal death, mainly livestock for food. I'm hoping to talk to him and help him realize that this kind of thing you're allowed to feel deeply. It's a horrible thing, and I feel bad for him that he has been through this enough times to where he feels like he shouldn't grieve or be upset because it's not worth it. His dad lives in another state, so I am unfortunately not able to find the dog myself. I would be in a heartbeat if he lived closer. I'm praying to every God in the universe that someone finds that dog and gives it the love and life that it deserves. My boyfriend treats our animals very well, so I have a hard time imagining he would do something like this himself. But I think as a young man growing up in a broken home, He wants to view his father as a perfect role model, and when it is just an imperfect human like everybody else. I hope he can take off those rose-colored glasses and recognize that his father's choices are unacceptable. Gonna talk to him in a couple hours, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks so much, everyone. What do you think?
I would agree 100% that leaving a dog at the side of the road is the worst thing you can do to an animal. It is cowardly.
Absolutely.
And just completely unethical.
Mm-hmm.
And if you deal with animals, as I think this gentleman does, you should know that that is absolutely the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
To a dog who's been domesticated to people, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
That's just awful. There's shelters. There's ways to go through social media to say, is anybody interested? But leaving a dog at the side of the road is just awful.
Right. And I personally just can't even imagine why somebody would get an animal knowing that they may not be able to afford it.
Yeah. I used to have a hedgehog, you know this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a really cool animal and I wanted one and I actually put a lot of thought into it and then I ended up buying it, but I didn't have the time to actually care for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized after a couple of days, I realized I wasn't giving it enough attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like I continually fed it, but like I never abused it or anything.
Yeah, of course.
But it got to a point where I said I just don't have the time to give this animal the home it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
And it took less than a week to find it a new home.
Right.
That's a hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
Little prick.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what kind of dog it is. I would take it.
Yeah. That's why we're going to have like 58 dogs.
Exactly. Oh, it went from 16 to 58.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. I could never imagine somebody doing this. And like if I had known that somebody I knew had done this, I would go out and start searching. But unfortunately for her, it's in a different state, so she can't.
That's exactly what happened with my mom's cat, because it was originally my dad's, and he had gone to a resort one weekend, and my cat at the time was a stray, and it was just walking around, and he put some food out for her and some water because she looked very malnourished, and then he came back and he told me that he saw this cat that was obviously a stray.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I just felt so bad thinking that there's something we could have done. So immediately I said, tomorrow we're going up and we're going to find her and bring her home, and that's exactly what we did. We went up, we started meowing and shaking a treat bag, and then we found her severely underweight. You could see her ribs. She was very weak. Turns out she was also pregnant, but yeah, I would not want to do anything to harm an animal that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just abandoning it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't know.
Right,
It doesn't know. It's like, why?
Its life is in your hands, and you just say, never mind, whatever.
Yeah, it's like that saying that an animal or a dog might be only in a part of your life, but you're that dog's entire life.
Right, exactly.
You gotta look at it like that. You can't just abandon a dog and not have any moral repercussions, if anything. I hope he doesn't sleep at night.
Right. Like, for me, if your dad had just let a dog out on the street and you were like, yeah, it's whatever, I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Actually, technically, we've done that to Stella before. Not purposefully, okay? There was one day my dad was working in the front yard, and he had Stella outside in the lawn, and he went inside to grab a glass of water, and I think he was probably inside for no more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he goes out, and Stella's just gone.
Yeah.
Now, my dog doesn't leave the house. She's very antisocial. She loves being at home. She gets separation anxiety, but she just vanished.
Yeah.
And it turns out she had gone for a walk by herself. She was found 3 blocks up the road. They gave us a call. Hey, is your dog Stella, black and white? With the number was on the tag. And my dad's like, yeah, where is she? And it was on whatever street it was. But it was like a 10-minute walk away.
Mm-hmm.
She just went for a stroll.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
Mm-hmm.
But
thank goodness she didn't get hit by a car. She's a little adventurous one, though.
I mean, she is.
Like, when we take her out on walks, you pretty much just, like, let the leash have a lot of slack in it, and she tells you where you're going for a walk. She just is like, oh, no, I'm going to go down this street, Jake. Come on.
Well, she's old, too.
Yeah.
You know, she knows she's not very adventurous. She barely chases squirrels anymore. She does her own thing. So, yeah, when we go to the forest or the park, I'll let her off because I know she won't wander off. Mm-hmm. When I'm there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, so we have some comments. If your boyfriend is used to animal neglect and abuse, and it doesn't faze him, I'd honestly wonder if perhaps he has been treated poorly as well. What reasonable human thinks dumping a dog or any pet is appropriate? I'd be telling my boyfriend to ask Dad where a dog was dumped and go look for it. But I do rescue/rehab, and this shit isn't my wheelhouse. I don't even speak to my own mother due to her neglecting her dog. I have zero tolerance. I wouldn't meet the dad, and I'm not sure I would stay with the boyfriend, but I'm 43 female and I have zero fucks for these kinds of people. Which I honestly, that's kind of like where my opinion's laying. Like, I just wouldn't be able to integrate myself into a family that's okay with doing that, I think. Mm-hmm. That's like a level of disrespect to a living thing that I just couldn't tolerate.
Mm-mm. Definitely not.
No. And then OP replies, that's a very fair point. Thank you so much for sharing it with me. I appreciate you greatly. And then another commenter says, I'm serious though. People who neglect and abuse animals often neglect or abuse kids. Obviously, I don't know your boyfriend, but if he's really flippant about this, he may have some other kinds of normalized trauma, and it could manifest in other ways in a relationship too. Something to keep your eye on about. Even if there's no trauma, he may have some really screwed up ideas of what is okay and what is not. So, I mean, that's definitely a perspective I never really thought about. Mm-hmm. But also, if you're growing up around livestock and knowing that these animals are going to be slaughtered, you probably already have I mean, I didn't grow up on a farm personally, but I would imagine that you would have some kind of skewed perspective of, oh yeah, well, this animal's going to die anyway, so I shouldn't care about it.
But that's just the difference between domesticated and non-domesticated.
Right.
Like, a dog is not livestock.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And whether it's livestock or a domesticated family pet, that animal relies on you for safety, for food, for resources, for life. So regardless whether or not it's going to be slaughtered at the end of its lifetime anyway, or if this is a pet that you've raised since you were 6 years old, that animal's life is completely in your hands.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Not okay.
No, not okay at all.
Goodness gracious, man.
I know. Okay. Story number 2. Do you want to just jump right in?
Let's jump right in.
Into the
Can it be a more positive one?
End. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Oh, God, okay.
And this one I typically would categorize in my sexual category, but I'm just going to make this episode a big mixed bag.
Okay.
Had the most embarrassing moment of my sexual life and it ruined my relationship. Help. This is pretty bad. A guy I have been seeing for a little bit as a friends with benefits took me out to eat at my favorite Thai restaurant. We had great food and conversation, came back to my place and was cuddled up on the couch and started making out. It was getting pretty hot, so we moved to the bedroom. He lit up a joint and wanted me to smoke it while he ate me out from the back. This is where it gets bad. I was hitting the joint and he was eating my pussy and ass. It felt so good, and as I was taking a hit, I lost it and started to cough, and I accidentally farted right in his mouth as he was going all into my ass.
Wait. Repeat that? She coughed and farted.
I was hitting the joint and he was eating my pussy and ass. It felt so good, and I was taking a hit. I lost it and started to cough, and I accidentally farted right into his mouth as he was going all into my ass. He screamed and
Oh,
vomited.
there's more?
Yeah. He screamed and vomited. I cried, especially everything stopped immediately. He got dressed and left and hasn't spoken to me since. I don't know how many times I apologized, but he still will not return my calls or text messages. Is there anything I can do or say to him to get him to come back? Or should I just let it go? I can't stop thinking about it and I feel so bad.
Just let it go.
I
apologize and say you can't believe this happened. You are terribly sorry. You would understand if they don't reply after this. You just want to be very clear that you feel terrible about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Move on.
Yeah.
Dude seems like a freak, though.
I mean, people are in all types of shit, but I'm just like picturing someone going all into someone's ass and then fart and just and then vomit. Oh man, that's so terrible. I feel so bad for him.
What else needs to be said there? There's no going back from that, okay?
Yeah.
There's none.
Mm-hmm.
He farted in his mouth, okay? Mm-hmm. He threw up. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was a little stinky. Okay. Move on. There's tons of other guys that will do that. Okay. Mm-hmm. If anything, I mean, obviously she's into smoking because she was hitting it while he was hitting it from the back.
Yeah.
But come on. Mm-hmm. Just there's plenty of ass-eating fish in the sea.
Yeah.
I hate this story.
I mean, I would be really interested to know how long they've been together for. Or I guess friends with benefits for.
I would say that it's probably less than 6 months if he ghosted her right away.
Right.
Because if you're at the point where I think 6 months to a year, you get more comfortable with somebody. Mm-hmm. And so he might have had a conversation if they'd been together for that long. Mm-hmm. But I think it's still decently fresh, just like the fart.
Oh God, Jake! No! Oh, that would be so bad. Okay, well, there is an edit. We were friends with benefits for about 3 months. Okay, answered our question.
Boom.
He's younger than me, late 20s. That day, he was being spontaneous, and a friend told him about how this girl came really hard, smoking a joint and getting eaten out at the same time. We both weren't thinking about what we had for lunch and proceeded. That's the best.
Whoa, wait. We knew what they had for lunch, right?
No.
I thought she said he took me to my
Thai
favorite
restaurant. Right. You are right.
Spicy. That chart was fucking full of peppers.
It wasn't a shart. It was a straight up fart. There was no shit.
I don't know. I feel like if it got to the point where he was throwing up, there might have been a little extra side.
Well, anytime you fart, poop particles are projected outwards. Every time. So that was just sprayed all over his face. So regardless whether or not she actually pooped at the same time, she farted,
skunked him.
Yeah, she did. She sprayed the fuck out of him.
That poor guy.
I know. Anyways, let's carry on with the edit. We both weren't thinking about what we had for lunch and proceeded. He was already a bit of an arrogant asshole, but I overlooked that because we weren't in a relationship, just fucking. I've realized from everyone's comments, no matter how good the sex is, to let it go, and I did. This is a huge eye-opener, and I'm back for the hunt for a better friends with benefits. And then there's another edit. He did finally respond back. There was no apology. He's still pretty upset and doesn't want to see me anymore, which is completely fine. I tried responding back, but was blocked.
Yeah.
Straight
at least you got closure.
First comment, shit happens.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the best.
I mean, like I said, at least she got the closure of he's pissed, don't want to see you anymore. That's it. End of story. Mm-hmm. You can't go back and unfart on him.
Yeah.
Move on. It's all right.
Well, now, if there is any bright side to the story, you guys both have an amazing story to tell people.
Yeah. Obviously, she's comfortable with it since she posted it on Reddit.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a throwaway account, who knows. But, yeah, definitely, she was just desperate. She's like, I need some fucking help, people. Oh, God. Okay, well, I mean, I didn't plan this, but this kind of goes with the first story, or the one that we just read.
Okay.
It's kind of a little extension post.
Okay.
All right. I tried waffle stomping for the first time today after constantly hearing about it on Reddit. It was terrible. Never again. Are you ready?
Do you know what waffle stomping is?
I do after reading some stories, but before that I didn't.
Okay. Because I have no idea what it is.
Blind.
But I know that a waffle refers to a vagina.
A waffle?
I thought so.
No.
Google blue waffle.
Blue waffle.
Oh, you don't know? No. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I thought you knew what it meant.
No.
Don't do it.
What is it?
Disgusting. That's what it is.
No! No, Jake! Are you fucking kidding me?
I was
You
curious.
just ruined it.
I was
You
curious.
just fucking ruined it. Alright. So.
Okay, all I read was one sentence, which was...
One sentence was enough, Jake. You've
Okay,
betrayed
go
me.
ahead.
Alright, so for everyone listening, Jake, I had to put down my laptop to restart the camera. And Jake took it upon himself to read the story.
I didn't read the story.
Before we went into it.
I read a bit of the story.
That was all you needed because it just dove right in and you ruined it. So.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
I'm really excited for this.
I was mid-shower but had to poop really bad and was already running late. Didn't want to cut the shower, get out, poop, get back in the shower. So thought, fuck it, let's try this waffle stomping stuff I kept hearing about. First of all, the smell, holy shit. I meant it's poop. I should have expected this, but I was ready to throw up as soon as I saw the thing plop on the shower floor and the smell hit me. My turd was also about 3 times bigger than the actual drain itself.
That's what I read.
So when I tried to stomp a section of it down, all the drain holes smeared and clogged with poo, forcing me to stick my big toe and scrape the rest of it past the holes. After a minute, I finally got the first section down the drain. Great, except the tiny section only made up for a quarter of the total shit mass that I had to repeat this process 3 more times. This ended up making me more late due to how long it took me to actually get through the whole process. 0 out of 10, would not recommend, and feel stupid for even trying. Big toe.
Oh, God. That's so good. So,
No, it's not.
I can relate.
Oh my God.
I didn't waffle stomp, but there has been times where I've been having a shower and, you know, I'll let a little bit of a go.
Right.
But
And then you get hot
a
boxed.
normal smelling fart in a shower that is full of steam
Hot steam.
makes it so much worse.
Right, it's a hot
It
box.
smells like a Taco Bell bathroom. It's bad. And
Right.
so I imagine that having actual human fecal matter
Mm-hmm.
in the shower and it wouldn't go away would just be the worst smell probably ever.
Right. Exactly.
And then she's goes,
Yeah. All over your foot. All over the drain.
yeah,
In between your toes, because you're stomping it down with your toes.
yeah. So, I mean, the point was she didn't want to get out of the shower and sit down and have
Well,
a
we
shit.
don't know it's a girl.
Oh, I thought it was a she.
No gender specified.
Then I'm going to assume it was a dude.
Nobody knows.
Because I was going to say that... Okay, before I continue, what is your view on this? How could they have done it differently? Not
Get
stomping
out.
the poop down, but you
Get
want to
out,
go with...
poop, and then get back in
Oh,
and
that's
wash your
boring.
asshole.
That's boring.
Oh, come on. In what universe does that sound like a good idea?
It sounds like an amazing idea, but there's a better idea, okay? Assuming that your turd is going to be whole and not deer poop or runny poop, just something solid. Do you know where I'm going with this?
You are thinking of shitting in your hand.
And then putting it in the toilet if it's that much of a hassle.
You're already getting out then. What's the point?
Because you have to sit down and...
No way you're recommending shitting in your hands and then walking to the bathroom, to the toilet anyway.
Well, that would be if the toilet and the shower were close, you know?
It doesn't matter.
Well, you can multitask, you know? One hand can be under your butt, one hand can be shampooing your hair.
No.
Yeah?
No.
Multitasking.
No.
Wash your face one hand,
Jake,
cup your shit in the other.
you're not okay.
Okay.
I can't believe you just said that.
I've heard somebody do it before. Not somebody that I know, but
I was like, names. No.
it's not somebody that I know, but I've heard that. Yeah.
You're already walking to the toilet at that point. You've already gotten out.
But
Just
again,
do the whole thing there, and now you don't have shit all over your hands. Are you kidding?
But the point is that he doesn't want to take the extra couple of minutes that it would take to sit down and have the poop.
You're already taking those minutes to poop in the shower.
Yes, but you could be doing other things in the shower. You could be loofahing your body, and then with your other hand is a toilet.
No.
Yes.
You're not okay.
I know. But neither is this guy. He tried to stomp his poop down the drain.
We don't know it's a guy.
Not this individual.
Mm-hmm. I can't
saying.
believe you.
Instead of waiting at the toilet being like, can't wait for it to come out, you're just chilling in the shower and then it starts coming out and boom, done. So much faster.
First comment, I wish I was illiterate. I wish waffle stomping wasn't even a thing, but here we are. I seriously have no faith in humanity evolving intelligently, shaking my head. Am I the asshole for recording my female coworker without her permission? Ready?
Yes.
I know the title sounds bad, but hear me out. I, 28 male, have a female coworker, 26 female, who likes to flirt with all the men at work. My wife, 24 female, knows about her and how I feel. Coworker stays away from me unless it's work-related because I shot her down a few times and told her on Monday if she doesn't knock it off, I would report her to HR. Well, yesterday, that coworker found my wife's social media and messaged her telling her that I'm a creep and won't leave her alone, and that I tried to pay her for sex. I was honestly disgusted. I ignored her existence unless it's work-related, and I couldn't believe the blatant lies she was telling. So today, I go into work and have my phone in my hand and recorded our conversation when I confronted her. I didn't show her face and camera was facing the floor, so all that was shown was the shoes. After some back and forth, she admitted she was mad that I threatened HR and hoped my wife would force me to quit my job so I wasn't a problem anymore. So I took the recording and the messages to HR, and she was fired immediately. On the way out of the building, she screamed at me that I was an asshole and a few other choice words for recording her without her permission, and that she's suing me for it. Even a few coworkers said I was wrong for it and I should just show the messages to HR, and how she's a single mom and I just cost her kids their livelihood. So am I the asshole?
Firstly, yeah, I think you go with the text first and say, here's what's going on.
Right.
If that doesn't work and it continues, then yes, to get more proof, recording is the way to go, because you can't say that he's now ruined her and her children's life when she is being... I guess not a homewrecker, but she's saying that he's being a creep to his wife directly. So that's not...
Yeah. Personally,
that's not right
I
either.
think she made her bed, she needs to fucking sleep in it.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot create that situation for yourself and then blame somebody else. No. Like, if somebody turns you down and you know that they're married and they're choosing to stay faithful to their partner and they specifically make sure that you know that they are not interested, you leave them the fuck alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is not your place to confront their wife. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
That's her mistake. She definitely should be fired for that. 100%.
Oh, yeah. No, as long as you have the proof, because unfortunately, unless you have text or video or recording, it's all hearsay.
Right.
Unless multiple people say, no, I heard them say that.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is a shitty situation, but he definitely should have gone to HR with the messages first,
Mm-hmm.
and if he was feeling desperate enough, only show the recording to his wife just to prove that, like, no, look, I'm just turning her down. Like, this is not something that was true in her messages, that he was being a creep and was offering to pay her for sex and whatever, just to make sure that their relationship was being, I guess, validated.
Sure. I don't know if it's illegal to record somebody without their permission.
In some places, you only need a one-way permission, but other places you need that person's permission.
Because I've seen a lot of videos of people getting pulled over,
Mm-hmm.
and they record the conversations they have with the police.
Right.
They're allowed to do that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is in their car,
Mm-hmm.
and you're allowed to do whatever you want with your property.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, because even with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard, they both recorded each other separately without them knowing.
Right.
Why don't they just sue each other for that? Because I don't
Well,
think they can.
I know that the one recording of the kitchen cabinets,
Mhm.
that was one of, like, the primary things in the trial. It was a big debate whether or not it should even be used in the trial, because that video was recorded in California, in their California house,
Mhm.
where it's illegal to film somebody without their permission.
In their own house.
Right. But they were using it in Virginia. So in Virginia, you don't need that other person's permission. So it was, like, really up in the air whether or not they would even be able to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But because it was filmed in California, where it's illegal to film somebody without their permission, a lot of people were saying that I shouldn't have even used it.
See, I kind of think that's BS, because if you're doing it to get, what's it called? What's it called?
Restraining order.
No. If you're using it to get to get
Evidence.
somebody to admit something,
Oh.
then as long as you get the proof.
I mean, it definitely is a way for people to protect themselves, but if it's illegal, then you're in the wrong. Because really, it's the police's responsibility for getting an admission, not yours.
I think it depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
If the topic of conversation is more severe than recording somebody,
Mhm.
then I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you recorded somebody saying, like, I murdered people,
Right.
what's worse?
For
You
sure.
recording them without them knowing, or the murdering?
For sure. Definitely circumstantial, for
Yeah.
sure. But here, I'm thinking, like, he was very careful. You could only see the shoes. You can't really prove that that's her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, voice. And if people see her wearing those shoes all the time at work, it's identifiable. But her face isn't in it, so I don't think legally they can say anything because it's not identifiable.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Anyways, there's an edit. I appreciate all of your guys' concern about me actually getting into legal trouble. According to Google, Ohio, where I live, is a one-party consent state. I have sent out a few inquiries to lawyers just to be safe, to see if she does have a case if they were trying to get legal route. I will keep everyone updated the more I find out and if she does actually try to sue me. Edit 2. Thank you guys so much for the kindness and support. I'm overwhelmed with everything and never thought this would blow up. However, someone shared my post into another group, which is fine. It's social media and I obviously can't expect it to remain private if it's on the internet. But a lot of people seem very concerned about my age gap with my wife. Not that I owe anyone an explanation, but we met when my wife was 21. We got married after 2 months of dating because we hooked up, and she wound up pregnant. I was in the military and stationed on the other side of the country and wanted an active involvement with my now daughter's life. If that makes me a bad person, so be it, I guess. Where I don't really feel like people haven't...
People can't have a say in that.
I mean, people will, because
oh, yeah,
that's
they
just
will,
what
because
people
it's
do.
the internet.
But, like, you can't really have a say based on someone's relationship.
No.
People are so entitled.
People on the internet always have something to say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They always have their own opinion.
Yeah, you'll always get in trouble for something. You can't please everyone. But yeah, at least they've reached out, made sure that they're not going to actually get in legal trouble, but at least
Smart.
They seem to have solved the situation.
Yeah.
She's no longer creating a
hostile work environment.
That's what I was looking for. A hostile work environment. She's no longer harassing his wife. No longer harassing him. I don't know.
Yep. Looks like her kids aren't getting any birthday presents this year.
Well,
fucking
it's not hard
bitch.
to find another job. Jake, are you fucking kidding me? It's not hard to find another job.
I mean, in today's work society.
I mean,
yeah,
there is a lack of jobs, but there are always places hiring.
Yeah.
Like, I drive through... I don't want to exactly say the street because I don't know.
Sure. And there's always hiring signs.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I was going to say, like, the main street where the McDonald's is.
Oh, yeah.
I always see places that say we're hiring everywhere. So,
on
like...
B or C?
Hmm?
On B or C?
B.
B? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also C.
Balls and cocks. No, that was the first letter of the streets that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even there was a Wendy's. We're hiring. A&W, we're hiring.
Everybody's
everywhere.
hiring all the time.
Yeah. So, like, she can't really blame him for their child's lack of livelihood. That's your fault. Woman, you just created this situation for yourself. Mm-hmm. If you were so concerned about your child's livelihood, do your fucking job and stop flirting with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, creating an environment that is feeling unsafe and harassing people, that's your fault.
Yeah. Well, when you get into a situation like that, a lot of people just want to save face and then they point fingers at everybody else. They don't take accountability and it's everybody else's fault.
Right.
That's what that person's going through.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I also don't want what I just said to sound like I'm slut-shaming her for flirting with people. It's your responsibility to perform at work to the expectations that you have.
Yeah, it's your responsibility to just be a good person.
Be professional.
Not that hard.
You're at fucking
it's not that
work.
hard.
And, like, yeah, you can be friendly with people, but, like, flirting with somebody and then harassing their wife, what are you doing?
Nope, not okay.
Doesn't make sense to me at all. Off to the comments.
Okay.
Not the asshole. If the genders were reversed, everyone would be applauding you. Always have proof and never go off. He said, she said, when possible. That's honestly why I recorded. I feel like she would have flipped script and said everything she messaged my wife was true, which was OP's comment. So, I honestly don't think that he's the asshole at all.
No, not at all.
No.
But I hearing it is pretty interesting if the roles were reversed and it was a woman recording a man. Mm-hmm. There would be significantly less comments saying that was not okay for her to do.
Right. For sure.
But it sounds like they've got it solved. No legal trouble. She got fired.
Mm-hmm.
We're all
on to the
good.
next story. This one's a short one.
Okay.
My 24 female boyfriend, 28 male, got mad at me for buying a new phone. So today I decided to buy a new phone, an iPhone 12 Pro Max to be exact. My past phone, iPhone 11, was okay with a year of use, but it was decent. But I still wanted to get the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I got it, told my boyfriend about it, and he got mad, telling me he can't believe I got such an expensive phone. I have a decent job.
What phone did she have?
12 Pro Max.
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't.
I didn't say it enough.
Yeah.
Right.
She didn't mention it enough times.
Right.
Jesus.
He told me he got angry as well because I don't have... Oh my god. I can't read this one.
Okay, just... Look at me.
I have a decent job, and it's not like I don't have savings because I do. He told me he got angry as well because I didn't even mention it to him before doing that purchase. My boyfriend is the kind of man that doesn't buy new stuff unless they are completely broken. I buy new stuff because I like the product without being irresponsible. What do you think, Reddit? Also, we don't live together yet.
Wonder why you picked this one.
I mean,
Because I don't buy anything.
Right.
So, of course, I'm on the side of, if you have an 11 and it's a year old,
Yeah.
why do you need a $1,000 phone?
Yeah.
A new $1,000 phone.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem necessary. Doesn't matter what kind of job you have.
Yeah. I mean, I still have my XR, and I have no desire of getting a new one until this one is, like, broken.
Yeah.
So.
I had that one too, and then I broke it. I dropped it, I think, on a rock.
Yeah.
And it broke.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get a new one.
Yeah.
But I would have been fine using that for... And I did. I even used it. I had the new phone, and I still used the cracked one for 2 months after.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, I guess I can use the other one now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think... like $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, especially when you're not, like, in need of it.
And if you were to finance it, it would probably be almost $100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Just to buy that phone.
Right.
Buy it on Facebook Marketplace.
Mm-hmm. But we're
Kijiji.
also very frugal. We try really hard to save as much money as we can.
Oh, yeah.
But some people are, like, very into material things. They just like to treat themselves all the time to stuff, which is completely fine. I just don't really understand why he's judging her for it, especially if they don't live together. And it's like, you're responsible for paying rent. Pay rent before you go and splurge on expensive items because we're splitting it.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't live together. So it's like, if she has the financial means to do it and she wants to, go for it. It's not really... I mean, he can say, well, that wasn't really, like, the smart decision, but it's up to you. But, like, I don't really know why he's, like, hardcore judging her about it. Am I the asshole for getting upset and yelling at my boyfriend for telling his mom about my issues? When I, 19 male, was 12, my parents kicked me out after my dad caught me kissing one of my baseball teammates. I had to find ways to survive on the street, and a lot of those ways messed me up, and I eventually got hooked on pills, mostly prescription meds, and other drugs to numb the pain. I'm only here now because an older cousin found me after he left the army and got into rehab and let me move in. It's really hard for me to talk about, and I don't like people knowing. My boyfriend Lyle, fake name I'm assuming, 18 male, knows this. I broke my arm pretty bad a few weeks ago, and I was prescribed pain meds, but because of my history of drug use, I don't take much more than aspirins. Last week, we were at his mom's, and she could tell I was in pain, and she tried to give me some Oxy that she had left over from when she had to get surgery, and I told her it was fine, and she asked if the doctors had given me a prescription. Just got out of breath. I told her yes, but that I wasn't getting it filled. She started asking questions about why, and I kind of refused to answer till she left it alone. I went over for brunch yesterday. Before I get to the door, Lyle tells me not to be mad, and I ask, what about? Before he could answer, his mom meets us at the door and grabs me in a big hug. I'm wondering what's going on, and she starts talking about how sorry she is, about what I had to go through on the streets, and she was sorry for offering me drugs without knowing. I kind of broke down and just started screaming at Lyle about why he would tell his mom something like that and just ran off. I ended up taking the bus home and eventually calmed down. Lyle has been calling me and texting me since yesterday and apologizing and telling me his mom was hounding him about why I wouldn't take any pain meds for my arm and saying I overreacted. My cousin says I was being an ass and over the top and that I should at least hear Lyle out instead of ignoring his calls and texts. Am I the asshole? What do you think?
Well, that's tough because if your mom is saying, well, why isn't he taking any pain medications? Like, if he's in pain, he should be taking them, blah, blah, blah. You obviously want to be honest, but at the same time, I don't think this person knew sharing what his girlfriends?
His girlfriends. She lived on the streets.
Sharing what his girlfriend's previous history was with his mom. He just wanted to be open. And I don't know, I feel like if he was confident enough to share that with his mom, then he understands that she would be completely okay with that. Example being that she gave her a hug and said how sorry she was, and she was very supportive.
Right.
Like, I think the boyfriend knew that would have been the case, which is why it wouldn't have been a huge issue. Yes, is there a line where some personal stuff doesn't need to be shared outside of the relationship? Yes. But I don't think that the boyfriend knew how much telling somebody else, even his mom, who he trusts a lot, probably, would take it.
It's tough because in the story she said that it's really hard for her to talk about it and she doesn't like people knowing. So I don't know if they had a conversation about the fact that she doesn't like people knowing and he went beyond that to tell somebody.
If they say, I don't like people knowing about this, then that's an obvious tell to not tell anybody.
Right.
If she didn't say anything, then I would kind of give him a pass because I'm honest with my mom. And I would say, here's some personal thing, knowing that she would be okay with it and support this person and keep this between her, and she wouldn't tell anybody else. But yeah, it's just communication.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I see it from both ways because, like, you've even told your family about, like, my stuff because I've mentioned on the podcast before that my mom has cancer. And as her cancer journey has gone on, we found out first it was breast cancer and then brain cancer and then it was worse brain cancer. So, of course, you've updated your family on that. And, like, I have no issues with it. But, like, say I did and I was like, I really don't want people knowing. And you told people, I'd be like, well, why didn't you ask me about it first? Which I feel like is probably what should have happened here. He should have asked her and said, so my mom's asking questions. I didn't tell her anything yet, but would you be okay with me telling her so that she's not confused about why?
I feel like there could be an easy lie. Like, obviously you don't want to lie, but if you're lying to protect somebody and their feelings, then it's more of a white lie saying it's not as bad. You could just say, oh, my girlfriend is allergic, or something along the lines of the prescription she was given was wrong, or she's allergic to whatever drugs his mom had, just for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, that is something you could do, unless, like, for me, I hate lying, even if it's something small. So, like, I feel like I would have just said, oh, it's just a personal reason. Like, she doesn't really want people knowing, but drugs are a sensitive subject for her, so she tries to avoid them. So you're not saying exactly why she doesn't like drugs or tries to stay away from drugs right now, but she knows that there's a personal reason as to why. So you're not, like, lying, but you're still letting her know, oh, there's a reason why she doesn't.
For sure.
Yeah. First comment, not the asshole. Yes, I know it wasn't his secret to tell, but considering the reaction you got, no judgment. Only love and support from his mother. You come a long way from living on the streets, and now might be a good time to start trusting that some people might actually have the best interest at heart. Kudos to your cousin for helping you when you needed it.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah, that could help somebody work their way more into trusting somebody, because obviously getting kicked out at 12 from your parents leads you to not trust people older than you.
Right, and plus any interactions on the street, which I'm sure she's had a lot of bad interactions with people.
So hopefully this mother giving her a hug, supporting her, letting her know that she's there for her kind of helps her work back into
hopefully
trust.
Yeah. Personally, I don't think that he's the asshole for doing it, but I do think that there was a better way to go about it that kind of respected her boundaries more. Would you agree, or would you?
Well, it just depends on the type of person that he is. Again, going back to, if he trusts his mom, then I don't think there's a problem with it, because at some point you have to start trusting people again, like
So
for the
you're
girlfriend.
going with not the asshole.
No, he's not the asshole.
Right.
I wouldn't say.
Okay. That's all I have for today.
It's just being honest,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes honesty hurts.
But
yeah, it's just communication's important.
Yeah. And it would be good for them to also have a conversation after the fact and say, look, the reason why I got upset is because I wasn't ready for people to know. Excuse me. And she could have said,
Are you going to keep that in?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah?
We'll see how I feel during the editing stage.
Okay.
But she could have just said, the reason why I got upset is because I wasn't ready for people to know. And I would have appreciated if you had asked me before you told her anything. And maybe we could have sat down and told her together. Or going forward, I would appreciate if you asked me before telling people my personal stories, just because it's hard for me to handle. And it's a sensitive subject for me.
Yeah.
All communication.
We can understand the emotional responses initially, but then once you cool off, get level-headed, then you can have that conversation to clear things up.
Right. Absolutely. She probably was feeling like a little bit betrayed because she trusted him with her secrets, and then he told somebody else without her permission. And also, I'm sure living on the streets, you probably have that feeling of betrayal a lot if, like,
for sure,
you have a situation that you feel could allow you to have a more comfortable living situation, and maybe it gets you're lied to or whatever. I don't know. I've never had that situation, but I could imagine.
She's just not used
tough.
to being around people, I think, who are supportive of her and she can trust. She's got to work back into it.
Right. Alrighty.
Is that it?
What did you think? Yeah.
That was good. Quite the mixed bag, as you mentioned. Fucking, what's it? Stomping Waffle? Waffle stomping? God. I oh, that was awful.
I was scrolling through Reddit, and I went,
like, this one's perfect.
I'm like, yep, that one's for Jake.
Oh, God. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me.
You're welcome.
When reading that story.
I thought you would enjoy that one. A little spicy spice.
Just like the Thai fart.
Spicy.
Spicy.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me again.
I hope you had fun.
That was a great journey. Can't wait for number 4.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for episode 7. Like I said last episode, I'm going to change the posting schedule to every other Monday to balance a better work-life balance for me that I can actually maintain. But thank you so much for listening. I appreciate your continued support. Check out the links in the description. But that's it for us, everybody. See you next time.